everyone, and welcome to the map Blackburn. Joining me here in the bottom left corner of the map, the yellow colored Kieran player, it is Acer. And the blue Kieran opponent over in the opposite, the bottom right corner, it is none other than Gerald. Yes, that Gerald, you know, pro player. Today we're looking at a highlight viewer match, I will call it, even though, truth be told, neither of these players, I believe, are viewers. No, my viewer was actually the observer of the match, casting this, and recommended it to me. A Scion custom races. Custom factions, however you want to spin it, however you want to call it. And if you are not familiar with the Scion community, with the Scion faction, first of all, shame on you. How dare you not be aware of this? Oh dear, Gerald. Really? Proxy. No, not proxy. Hidden base, I'll call it. He's proxying the minerals with a new citadel. As I was saying, if you are not familiar with the Scion, I'm sure I'll put some links somewhere. Check out their Discord. Check out previous videos I've done, which actually is a good segue here. You're like, oh, a Kieran mirror match? Let me help you out. Let me pause you there for a second. First of all, I was recommended. This was a good one. Secondly, I have casted a number of Scion games. I've even played a little bit of it, although nowhere near as good as these two. I've played a little bit, but I've seen the Kierans fight Zerg. I've seen them fight Terran. I've even seen them fight Protoss. I want to say Zayd as well, which means I need to find one fighting a Genetron at some point. Oh, Acer actually spotting this hidden base already. The Pariah gonna try and save the worker. The dash from the Pariah may help out. Oh, not good enough though. That converter's gonna get away. Well, anyways, I wanted to see how two Kierans go about fighting each other. What will the composition look like? Because I've seen compositions go a couple of different ways. The Kieran, definitely some strong ground units. Personally, I think the air units are pretty fun. I think they look cool. Some great functionality. So I'm just kind of intrigued in seeing what happens in this game. I was told it was a great match. I was told it goes to a pretty lengthy late game, so buckle up, kids. Get your beverages, get your snacks. You know the drill. Tell me in the comments below, what is your favorite snack? What is your beverage? What are you having right now? Do tell. I love knowing about food. Who doesn't? Alright, let's take a look at the game. What have these two been up to while I've been boring you for 3 minutes? We know that Gerald's got this hidden base, not so hidden though. The Pulsar from Acer, which is a rather close range, not a melee, but still relatively durable unit. The flank from the Pariahs though, dashing around. These Pariahs, if you're not familiar, that's the basic unit. Melee with a little bit of mobility in this dash that they have. Sir, as you can see, can shoot while moving though, and with a range of like 3, it's doing pretty well. It's keeping all those Pariahs at bay. 10 kills on it. Although the Volt run by Acer, trying to get some damage done. How successful? 6 worker kills, so respectable. It's not nothing, but it's also not game ending. Let's be realistic. Gerald looking to tech up, getting some more edifices, which are needed to make more of those basic units, those Pariahs, those Volts. The Kierans, in case you're not familiar, they can only warp in their units around their main base, the main building, the Citadel here. All of these other structures you see are, it's almost a little Zerg-esque. They unlock the ability to produce those units they generate these charges of the units. Oh, what do we have here? The Umbra, a cloaked anti-armor specialist, I believe. The Umbra is cloaked, not stopping Gerald from pretty much knowing where it is, though. It's cloaked until it attacks. Once it attacks, it's visible for a few seconds. If it doesn't attack, it goes back to being cloaked. The real fun part, though, is while it's cloaked, the first shot coming out of cloak deals double damage, I want to say. Gerald, fed up with all of these Umbra shenanigans, is just going to send a group of pariahs across. The workers have to flee. There's pretty much no army units here. A Volt is warped in rather futilely. The rest of the army just goes across to the other side of the map, says, well, fine. If you want to blow up my base, I'll blow up your base too. So we have pretty much just chaos and shenanigans across the map now. Acer's forces here, looking to get on top of the workers. Gerald not pulling those workers right away. We'll try and get them out through that very single file line. Workers. Oh, some more things warped in here. Charges were given back to Acer. Production re-enabled. Now it's up to Gerald. Can Gerald clean up the army? It looks like it. Got some subjectors here, which are not all that special. They're just kind of a attacking bruiser. They don't have any abilities or special traits or characteristics, but I spoke a little too soon. Acer actually still kicking in the base here. Some more Volts are going to be warped in. That subjector really trying to get down that Pulsar. The Pulsar's durability coming in handy, though. The Umbra, using its cloak attack, will just try and get rid of any more workers that it can. I'm going to go with that was wildly successful for Acer. Getting any number of worker deficit in a mirror match, as many of you competent StarCraft intellectuals know, is devastating. The aperture here, I want to say, is the transport, and I'm going based just off the little transport boxes there. Acer wanting to put on the pressure even more. Ground units sent to this hidden gold base here. Does he know? No. Like, you can feel it, though. That was close, actually. Workers have to be evacuated. What you see here, this little Elytron I'm going with, belongs to this robotic beetle up here, the Myriad. Like a ground carrier, I'll call it. Keeps these little 3 scarabs. It's kind of a reaver, but not exactly a reaver. That aperture dropping off a few units in the main base. How successful was this? Oh, fairly successful, looks like. Gerald opting to clean up the forces over by the gold base, losing a few more workers in the natural, though. Subjector, with its anti-air strength, going to try and shoo away that dropship, that aperture, if you will. Pulsar's still alive, still kicking. Some shields on that should regenerate nicely. Gerald, furious, angry at the developments of the match so far. This has been rather action-packed, I will admit. Neither one of them's dead, but I do feel Yellow's in a bit of a stronger position at this point. 56 to 39 workers, deficit still crumbling. The dropship goes down, which means these Pulsars no longer able to maneuver around as easily and subject to being flanked by the rest of the forces here. The Myriads are going to be caught out on the map, but that might actually just be better for the Myriads. Oh, I take it back now. They're getting surrounded. Pariahs dashing on top, Volts from the right side. All of these forces will be destroyed. There is no hope. There is no saving them. And perhaps, finally, a moment of peace on the map. Unless you are one of those 2 very unfortunate Volts. Peace is an illusion, isn't it? Somebody said that. That sounds familiar. The turrets, the best building for the Kurons. These nullifiers, great laser beam attack. I love it. Gerald still going for mostly ground forces. They both are. Acer's adding on more of the myriads, while Gerald's going for more of these subjectors. So we'll see. Gerald, the army's a bit lighter. It's a bit more mobile. Could come into play. A little more harassment. Look at these turrets. That's so cool. Share in my joy. Share in my admiration of these nullifier beams. Oh. Acer, what was wrong with that one? He was doing fine. All on his own. Yeesh. Some pariahs make their way up into the natural in the main base. Quick warp in of some units should help to deal with this. Pulsar. Kiting a little too well. The pariahs say, fine. I'll go up here then. And, Recon. Yeah. The hidden base for both players. Still alive. Still working out fairly well here. Citadels energizing, allowing for faster movement, harvesting for those workers. The Umbras quickly dealing with one of the pariah. Pariahs? Pariah Psi. Pariah Ease. I'm gonna go with pariah and pariahs. You can correct me later, if I care to read it. Oh, we got a new thing in here, the Ward. Defensive unit. Ooh, was that really the best time to strike, Umbra? Perhaps trying to snipe off one particular unit. As I was saying, the Ward here. Now, you know the definition of Ward. You know. It sounds defensive. It sounds very shieldy. You would be correct. It has two main jobs. First of all, there's no attack, I believe. Secondly, it can restore the shields of friendly units, but you have to target it. You have to control it. And then the other ability it has is to project a little small shield in an area that gives invulnerability. Yeah, full-on damage immunity in StarCraft. Everybody who played Brood War, remember Dark Swarm? Ooh. Shudder, shake in terror. I know, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say those words lightly, right? Looks like the Force is clearing out the rocks. Both of them just kind of taking a macro turn at this point. There's some fancy looking upgrades on the way. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what it does. But it looks cool, and that's half the battle, right? Ill-timed main base. Going to be cancelled, though. Myriads up here, the ground forces should be dealing with that pretty well. We have a forward citadel that's going to be no longer destroyed. Let's make it more forward. I agree. Good job. Went so well the first time. Pariahs forcing another cancel. The damage coming out. Gerald fighting back. Worker counts back up to 74. Resources lost actually in favor of the blue Kuron as well. We have ourselves a battle. We have ourselves an actual lengthy game, perhaps. Pardon me. A couple of myriads here. Gerald seems to be liking the subjectors. You know, I can agree. I played Zayd for like the first time, and I found one unit, a Reviler, I want to say. It was simple. Just had a attack. It hit air. It hit ground. Didn't have any fancy micro. I loved it. It's great. How's this? That looks great, doesn't it? The Inducer. The Kuron's siege tank, I'll call it. Long range attack. I think it's a single target, but it can hit ground and air. And it cannot attack unless that orb comes back to it. I bet you will see it in a second. Look at the orbs. You could see them traveling back and forth. The shields go down. The wards will be destroyed. Oh, that's right. The ward's shield actually is tied to the shields the ward has. So it's not full damage immunity. It's like an absorption. A lot of volts on the ground here. Acer packing a lot of basic units in addition. We have a couple titans. And by a couple, of course, I mean 4. 4 Titans on the field, which is the ultimate ground unit. Will it live up to its name? Some shields go down. Defensive posture initiated. Acer has to back up, losing a bit too many of those Elytrons in that ground carrier. I'd be scared too. 4 Titans show up. We need a weapon that can kill Titans. Have to go on some Herculean labor. Ugh, sounds exhausting. The Inducer Siege orbs go out flying. It's beautiful to watch, really. I'm actually quite enjoying just the aesthetic. Can I just, like, be quiet and watch for a second? No, I'll save that for later. There might be a better battle later. I want to be quiet and just watch. The Titans for both players shooting their lasers at each other. Have to admire all the graphics, the aesthetic, the work that has gone into these custom factions is beautiful. Elytrons might be pushing a bit too far forward. Myriad's picked off though. I'm liking Acer's composition just because of how ranged it feels. It feels that you don't have to really commit. You don't have to get up in your opponent's business if you don't want to. The siege tanks will shoot their orbs. They'll come back on their own. The ground carriers will launch the scarabs, quickly lose the scarabs, and then you retreat in a panic and hope your opponent doesn't chase you. Sounds familiar, right? More Titans on the way. Definitely ground favored composition for both of them here. Oh, we got some nullifier turrets over here. Another skirmish, another commitment in the middle of the map. Some Titans with some fused shields on there. Some extra shields for a particular unit. It's like playing Abathur and Heroes of the Storm. I'm sorry, I just announced I've played Heroes of the Storm. Yikes. Don't worry, it was only for a little bit. I enjoyed controlling more than one unit more. The Myriads, the Titans, stepping a bit back. Not wanting to commit, not wanting to lose everything. How we looking here? We've got just 1 Titan for Acer, 6 for Gerald. That man likes his Titans, alright. Go for it. I'm curious if either one of these players is going to try and transition into air at some point in the match. I'm a little curious about that because I feel like what's the cue? What's the timing? I know much more familiar with the standard races, the default races, and I could say for a Protoss, the moment in PvZ is when you see lurkers, usually. Like, that's the cue, like, oh crap, I need air, I need carriers, I need Tempest, that kind of thing. Pinging the map. Yes, there are minerals there, we know. Anyways, so I'm curious if there's a particular timing, a cue, stimuli that one of these players will receive that will trigger an air transition. Possibly. I don't know the details of their experience with this faction. I have the sneaky suspicion Acer's more experienced than Gerald, but they got quite a good match. Definitely entertaining. As you saw the APM count, Gerald definitely a bit higher on the albums. Is it really coming into play though? Acer's composition is looking just a bit tough to break into. Titan Myriad Inducer. Quick, write that down. Somebody write that down for me. Remember the Chiron ground composition of choice here. We have a Titan run by. This is the equivalent. How they go walking 1 Colossus over to your opponent's base. Although we won't actually laugh at you because it's doing very well. Look how quick it's deleting the shields here. Switching over to the Subjector. Oh, some more forces up here. The Titan may still actually do pretty well though. Main army just moving around, just juggling. We'll keep watching this. It's entertaining. How much damage is the Titan gonna get done? The turrets. The turrets have arrived. They will be shut down before they can really realize their activity. The Titan's still doing well up here. Have to admire it. Armies Might come to blows in the middle of the map again. Composition's looking large, looking strong. I gotta zoom out for all of this. Is that an inducer I saw for... No, it's a ward. I think that's a ward in there for Gerald. So, Acer's still rocking heavy inducer. We got, what, 11? Wow. Looking nice, looking strong. 7 myriads. Some air unit. I think, oh, it's the fuse on the Titan. Okay. Fuse giving that Titan some extra shields. The wall of turrets start to press delete on these other units. The Volt's actually packing a serious punch. Call them basic unit at your own discretion, apparently. No minor thing. Gerald alerted to the base up here, though. Need the vision, need the scan up on the high ground here. Titan's gonna quickly put those Volts back in their place as Gerald commits onto the base here at the very top of the map. Acer scrambling to get back up here. Inducer's able to launch from a long range, picking off units before they can really even respond, even react. The Elytrons meet in the middle. Titan quickly deleted. Okay, I like this one. Inducer, I like you. I'm gonna have to mark you down. Best Kiron ground unit. Graphics galore as both players come to blows. The ward putting a defensive shield in not quite the best defensive location. Titan's committing, getting a little far close, but the Aegis is here, projecting an actual immunity bubble. Damage immunity, and I don't even think enemy units can enter that ground zone now. Until that's gone, until that's cleared, zoom out a little bit, get all of these beautiful units onto the screen. The Titans putting in some work, but again, it just feels like Yellow's composition is tough to commit against. It's tough to actually get in there, break them. And I'm not even sure an air transition is really helpful because those not siege tanks can hit air units too. Elytrons, Titans walking up the ramp here. Vision, turrets being queued up here. Acer, are you really gonna do this? Make a forward citadel. Turrets, it's looking like it. Oh boy. Oh, Gerald actually has the Aegis of his own. Now, this bad boy, you might feel scarred if I say this to you. You might feel a bit stricken in terror. Mothership core. Can roost over a main base. It can only exist over a main building, the Citadel, if I recall. And it can attack, it can help out. 400 shield, 600 life, very powerful. It can also project that big shield we saw. I hope we'll see it again, too. Within that shield, friendly units immune to damage. Enemy units cannot even enter, they cannot even pass, which is scary to think about, actually. Acer wanting to commit, start to damage the production here. Gerald a bit out of position, might be trying to go after that base at the bottom at the cost. Ooh, Titan off. Remember those Titans? Yeah. Acer not ready to go all in just yet, not wanting to potentially lose everything, wanting to play it safe, go for the long haul, the slow battle here. I can agree, Kiron forces are scary. I mean, they have exactly what you could have too, right? Another upgrade on the way. Titans did clean that up. These rocks, you get those rocks. Nullifier quickly destroyed. Acer taking advantage of that situation, though, gonna start to actually pick off the Citadel here. He's going after the Citadel, not the Aegis. The damage immunity goes out, though, which means the attacks are stopped on the shield. It looks like it's tied to the Aegis's shields as well, though. Yeah, the Aegis shield is destroyed, which means the bubble goes away. Not a true Dark Swarm, then, just an almost Dark Swarm. But still protect the units. We have some air units actually showing up here. Gerald going into Paragons, which is kind of the ultimate air unit. See how ultimate they are up against these inducers, though. Quickly deleted by that group on the right side. Titans on the left. Acer perhaps stepping a little too far. Out of bounds here. The Titans may be able to go up this ramp. The Citadel, it looks like it's trying to make an Aegis right here, which I don't think is going to go quite well at this point in time. Some more inducers being warped in. This is a forward warp-in zone, though, for our yellow Chiron, which is proving to be quite helpful, quite resourceful. The Titan's trying to focus down that building, get rid of the building, get rid of the warp-ins. It's like killing the pylon. Very helpful. Nullifier in the middle of the map. Titans forcing the rest of the army. Acer definitely stepping a bit too far. A little bit of an overcommitment. Gonna have to warp in back at home. What are you? Oculus. Oh, this is the vision thing. That building is what creates these, which is like a little scan, a little map hacks for the controlling player, of course. Inducer, angry and vengeful at the loss of his brethren previously. Steps too far forward, gets deleted by the Titans again. The worker off. Gerald trying to steal the minerals, it looks like. I agree with this choice. Gerald trying to just get rid of the expansions out on the map. You've secured some map control. You know you got rid of your opponent's army. Paragon finally shows up to the battle. Says, oh, you finally decided to roll out of bed and show up, huh? Be helpful. The Titan run by, continuing for Acer, not ready to give up the map just yet. Oh my god, 104 workers killed. I didn't know it got that bad. Paragon warped in to deal with the Titan. Titans, I don't think they can hit air units. No, ground units only, which means that's the key. That's your cue, depending on how many Titans are in play, to go for some air units. Gerald doing some long distance mining of these minerals here. Scans all over the place, guys. Are these permanent? I don't think they're permanent. I just think they last for a long time. Wonder what that feels like. Yeah, I'll let that one sink in. Inducer army reconstructed back up to 14. Looks like the Titan commitment has kind of stopped, though. The Paragons clearing away these anti-ground turrets. What's the Paragon count at? 5. Ooh, about to be 4. As I said, these inducers putting in a lot of heavy lifting for Acer. Composition looking good. Gerald not out of it just yet, though. The Paragons do have an ability at their command. I forget what it's called, but it sends out a little orb at the ground, and that orb is like a miniature tactical nuke. It deals a good amount of damage in an area, anything that it contacts with. So if the position is right, if the Paragons can get on top of this army, lay down 3 to 4 of those little mini nukes, chef's kiss, perfection, and Gerald takes it, I'm sure. What are you? A gyre, supportive spellcaster for the air units, I want to say. I think it can pick up ground units. Do it. Show me. He's not going to show me. I think it can do that, a little bit like the Phoenix for Protoss. And at the end of the day, that's why I call the Chirons Protoss, probably. May have heard me refer to them as such. The inducers launching the orbs, the Elytrons quickly evaporating against that superior firepower. Myriad's not quite doing the work I think Gerald was hoping for. Going to deploy that Aegis shield, prevent Acer from moving forward right at this time. Now, Acer could be shelling the shield to try and get rid of it early. That would require a commitment, though, when you can just wait it out. It's not permanent. Not going anywhere. That little gray bar you see counting down? Yeah, that's the shield time. Cannot hide forever. Chiron. The Chirons are coming. The army's still looking 18. Okay. How about Mass Inducer? Did you know that was on the menu for today? Was that on your bingo card? I didn't think so. Titan stepping too far forward. Might get picked off by all these Elytrons. The Paragons pitching in. Titan is gone. Inducer's putting in good work, though. Able to shell from quite the range. It's Is that the shield already back off cooldown? That's a short cooldown. Very nice. Sup play. Sup play? I don't know. I got nothing. Or one. Your guess is as good as mine. I got nothing on that. I'm going to assume it's loosely translated to, that's a lot of inducers, Batman. And Batman responds, yeah, I have 41. Now, of course, we know he doesn't have 41, but it's called a bluff, right? Called a bluff. He's trying to make Gerald scared, make Gerald terrified, believe that there's 41 inducers out on the map. Armies. Posturing. Gerald not even maxed out at this point. I'm not quite sure what the play is. Just waiting for more charges for warp-ins. It looks like it. A couple more myriads, another subjector. Seeing an interesting division in the composition here. Gerald has more myriads and paragons. So a little bit of a mix of air in there. Acer feels like just full-on committed to these not siege tanks. Shields up yet again. This time may actually be a bit damaged. Gerald wanting to commit says, I put up my shield, but I don't care about it anyways. Forward base set up for Acer again on that high ground. The inducers shelling from the long distance. The Titan's going to be evaporated. Then getting into close range with either of these armies is a bit scary. Wow, that's a lot of damage. Inducers quickly removing any threat that steps up even just a hair too close. Shield will be hurt a little bit. It looks like it will just dissipate passively though. I wonder, I don't know offhand if the shield can be targeted or if you have to hit something that's within the shield to start to hit the shield. Could go either way. Citadel, yet again up here. Where's the Aegis? There's no Aegis over top. Boom! It's here. It's shields up. Gerald committing, trying to break the shield down. Aegis gone red for some reason. Oh, it was the nuke. It was targeted onto the Aegis. Little miniature nuke bomb there. Acer coming in though, protecting the Citadel. The forward warp-in location will be secured. Titans being removed. More of the explosions go out onto the Titans. They will be removed. They will be destroyed. The Paragons starting to be dealt with, though. And I think this is just way too many inducers. I don't think Acer's composition can be broken. The Myriads are out of their little ground interceptors. And the money, the income, is gone for the Blue Chiron. At the end of the day, I think we're looking at a GG going to Acer. Very entertaining match. Beautiful work. Seeing all of the inducers, and by all of them I mean yes, all 112 of them throughout the match. Well played by Gerald as well though. I like the addition of the air units. Little miniature tactical nukes. Really beautiful match, even despite it being a mirror match. Very nice to see. Thank you for the submission. Thank you for the recommendation. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.